Good afternoon, friends. It is Wednesday at 4-ish o'clock, so that means it must be time for the Weekly Drip. And it is Weekly Drip Season 5, Episode 12, and we have a third person on board today. Yes, yes. Oh, my shirt says love. It might be backwards, though, but I promise it is. That's what it says. That's what it says. Uh, Introducing Miss Sarah Rose. Sarah, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thank you guys for having me. I'm doing great and even better now that I'm here with you guys.
Woo-hoo,
Oh, yay. Welcome. So
Amber,
excited to have you.
Why don't you give everybody the skinny on who is this Sarah Rose with this logo beneath her?
Oh, for those of you who don't know, Miss Sarah Rose is the representative from the Dripping Springs Community Library, and she is spearheading the campaign to get our new library built. So if you don't know her, now you do. There's no excuse to not reach out to her if you have any questions. She is a wealth of knowledge, and she is just one of the sweetest people that you can talk to. And like Ashley and I, is so incredibly passionate about our community and the library and the vision that she has for this space, and the work that she's putting into it is just phenomenal. And we couldn't be more excited to have her on the show today.
That's
Agreed.
like such a glowing introduction. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
It
Can
is
I keep you guys in my pocket all day?
absolutely,
You can.
absolutely. So Sarah's talked to us about library, but before we get there, where are you?
Okay. So yeah. I am at the library. This is not my house.
Those are not
But
books. Those do not
I
look like books.
Our library, you guys, so our library was built 25 years ago when our community was much smaller, right? Back then we had about 900 card holders, and now we have over 12,000 card holders. And every square inch of this building is being used literally at this moment. So I don't have an office because when the library hired me about a year ago, already every office was already doubled up.
Mhm.
So everybody's already sharing space left and right here. And so I am actually in our library workroom, our break room, where everybody eats lunch. The sink and coffee machine is right next to me.
Perfect.
But there's meetings going on in all the different rooms right now, and yeah, there's Legos happening in the back, and yeah, so here I am.
Just one example of many as to why our community needs this new library. I was told that our current library, with the books that we house, anytime a new book comes in, another book has to be removed because
Yep.
there is just no more room. And Ashley and I, and also Sarah, we all are huge fans of books. So my TBR list is growing exponentially all of the time. And no, thank you. We cannot keep getting rid of books. We just need to add more.
I feel like Amber's TBR, for those that don't know what that means to be read. I feel like Amber's list is as long as the capacity of books in the current life.
Probably.
Possible.
I have only seen a snippet of it. And speaking of capacity, Sarah, talk to us really quickly. Well, first, our dear friend Katie asked a question.
Yes, no.
It looked
It's,
like
you
felon
can see it.
for a second, the way your blazer fell. And I was like, it does not say
It
felon.
says lifelong learner, and you can see that. That's appropriate.
Not felon. But speaking of capacity, let's talk about human bodies.
Yes.
How many physical bodies can be in the library at one time?
Oh,
And then
goodness.
how many physical bodies are we moving to? I've heard some numbers, and I
Yeah.
want to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to
So,
speak, not
yeah.
spread rumors.
I think there's a few different ways to look at the numbers of physical bodies, right? So in our current library, we have one number is about 35 parking spots. So we have parking for essentially 35 families. On a weekly basis, we can see 60 to 70 people at a story time, just on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. And that's just one program. So like the other week, we had a book club happening in the back. And in the back room, we can hold up to 25 people. And so we had a book club going, and we had story time going in the children's area. And we have this quiet room that you can also reserve that if you get creative, you can fit 25 people in there, but it's really meant to hold like 10 or 12, like a conference room. And we had, I think it was Dungeons and Dragons happening in there. And so even though we could bring, right, like 60 or 70 people in the story time and 25 in book club and I don't know, 10 or 12 at Dungeons and Dragons, we don't even have the parking to hold all of those people. And so the Dripping Springs Youth Sports Association has been very kind in saying, y'all can use our parking at any time, but it's across the street, and I have 3 kids. They're now old enough to know not to run away in parking lots, but when they were little, 2 of them were runners, and they never ran in the same direction. They were like ping pong balls. So having the park across the street would have been enough to deter me to just not not take my kids, because the idea of parking and walking them across the street would have been really stressful.
And I'm just suspecting, because I wasn't at that book club or playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I wasn't at that story time, but what you just described sounds like pandemonium in the current space. Was it?
It was.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And in the new library, though, we'll have parking for over 160 cars, which still would be great if we had more, but we're limited by the land, right? And in the new building, we have one meeting room that could have held all 3 of those meetings at once. So we have one meeting room that can hold up to 150 people. And that's just one of the meeting rooms, There will be another room that's like a classroom size, 20 to 25 people, 2 rooms that are like boardroom conference rooms that can hold 10 to 12 people. And then about a dozen smaller meeting rooms where people like myself could pop into and take a Zoom call.
I love. So you guys already know, I'm a real estate agent. I deal in square footage all day, every day. Love to talk about square footage. Tell me about the footprint of the existing library and then the new library. And then when you're done doing that, tell everybody where the heck this darn thing is going, because that seems super important to know too.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to know, right? So the current library is about 9,500 square feet, which was great, right, when we had 900 card holders. The new building will be about 37,000 square feet, and it'll be 2 stories. So it's actually built into a slope. So the first floor is a full floor, and then you'll go downstairs to the children's area, and the children's area alone will be about 13,500 square feet. So bigger than our entire current library. And then what was the second? Oh, the location. Okay. So if you know where we are today, if you don't, come to the library and get a library card, because that is super helpful for us, even in fundraising, to share our card hold numbers. So to get to us today, right, you go down 290 and you would turn onto Sportsplex Drive. So we're right down the road from Flying Fish, our friends at the Flying Fish Swim Academy, and right before the high school. And the new library will be right behind where we currently are. So instead of getting to it from Sportsplex, you'll keep going down 290, turn down Mighty Tiger Trail like you're going to the high school, and then turn on to Benny Lane, and we'll be at the end of Benny Lane. If you go down there now, you might see me there, my little white minivan, because sometimes I work out of my car in that cul-de-sac.
Perfect.
But you'll see all that property there, and it's about 5 acres.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm curious, is it just off and running and we're just building this sucker and we have unlimited resources to make it happen? Or is there some things in the works?
Right. That would be the dream, right? Yeah. So something that's really unique about our library is we are a library district. and there are only 15 library districts in the state of Texas. Most public libraries in Texas are city or county, which means the city or county funds and governs and manages the library. For us, we receive zero property taxes. We get $0 from the city of Dripping Springs. We get a little bit of money from Hays County, about $30,000 to $35,000, but we are far from a line item in Hays County budget. And so the way our library is funded is through sales tax revenue. And
Okay.
that's revenue that's generated within basically the Dripping Springs School District. So buy local, shop local, dine local, and you're supporting your local library.
So with that little bump in sales tax revenue, that's where the like 35,000 comes from?
You mean from Hays County or?
Yeah, is that or
So what comes from Hays County is it's totally different from your, well, I mean, the county is funded by your taxes, but what comes from Hays County, we put in a grant application with a bunch of other nonprofits every year. And so that's something we apply for every year that Hays County has been very generous in granting us, but it's not a guaranteed and yeah, it fluctuates. So that's why it's also a different number every year.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I just kind of wanted to put a punctuation on it that it wasn't guaranteed. Kind of already knew that, but I really wanted you to say that.
It's important to know. And
Yeah.
I get lots of questions about like, oh, why do we do that? What, maybe we should, get together and the city should make it a city library. And well, our community is really unique, right? Like our city limits is actually quite small. And so it actually is really beneficial for the library to be a library district and not be confined by just the city limits property taxes. And it allows us to serve a broader community. So if you work or live in Hays County, you can get a library card for free at the Dripping Springs Community Library.
And we currently have around 12,000 cardholders. Is that correct?
Over 12,000.
That is incredible.
Which is more than 12 times what the library was built to be able to cover. So we are far beyond what the library's capacity was intended to be, which totally makes sense that we're at the point that we are right now and
it's
being
really
so ready for this new space.
Yeah, I mean, in Amber, I have heard so many great stories about how our current library was built. I mean, it really was a community effort, and we have so many of those families involved in the planning and the design for the new library, which I really feel like this project, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, It's because of, those community members 25 years ago that said, I've never lived somewhere without a library. Like, how can we not have a library? We need a library. And they put the work in and they built this library, and it was great for 900 cardholders. And it's still great today, but we need more. Our community deserves and needs more.
So how's it going to get paid for, Sarah?
So sales tax revenue will pay for most of it. It's a $35 million project, and that's all in, right? The land, the building, technology, the furnishing. We know that sales tax revenue in 10 years, by 2033, will pay for a building loan for this new building and basically a doubled operating budget. But in the meantime, we have a gap. We have a gap until that sales tax revenue catches up. And so we're fundraising the gap. And that's $5 million. And we've raised about $1 million so far. I'm really, really hoping that this is the week we go over $1 million. And if that happens, you guys, somebody better join me for champagne because I want to celebrate our first $1 million. We're so close. We're less than $100,000 away from reaching the $1 million mark.
That's
incredible. Yeah, and we're just getting started. We just went public with this campaign in February with our Pouring Over Books event at the end of February. And I mean, I have to say, I know y'all love Dripping Springs, and I've only been in Dripping Springs for 2.5 years, and I am blown away by how this community, we value education, we value lifelong learning. We value continuing to develop ourselves professionally, personally, in our relationships. And it blows me away, just the expertise, the knowledge that's here in the community, and how generous people have been. I mean, we've raised almost $1 million, and that's from less than 70 people.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is that average donation?
I don't know. I should know that. What
I
that?
feel like
Somebody
I
do that
know
math
that.
really quick. But yeah, that's with less. So just imagine, right? It really takes everyone. Like if everyone pitches in, you know, if everyone gave $100 in our library district, that would raise $5 million. So
That's an average of over $14,000 a person.
there you go.
Amazing.
Those are some people who really love in our community and love the library. I hope they love books.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a building that do we have it in the numbers or in the framework or anything where we know how long this library should support our community?
So right. So what's cool about this library project, what I personally find really cool about it, is it's very much a legacy project. This library that we're building is going to be here for a very, very long time. So as our community grows, we wouldn't look at building an even bigger library. What we would do is start building branches. So this would be the Central Dripping Springs Community Library, I mean, until the building falls apart. I don't know. Forever. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And can I tell you guys about the butterflies? Because I got my butterfly earrings on today.
And anybody watching is like, books, butterflies, what? Guys, guess what? We're out here fundraising. So listen, buckle up, and you don't have to contribute $14,000 to be a part of this initiative.
No.
You can donate $5.
Okay, before I tell you about the butterflies, let me tell you about how any amount matters. I have these two precious girls. This is like I will never delete this voicemail from my phone. They called me last Friday, 4:00, and I didn't answer because I was dead. And they called me and they left me this voicemail and they said, Miss Sarah, we're calling because we raised $187 for the library. And they had gone through their house. They had found books that they were ready to part with, toys that they were ready to part with. And they had put out a little table, and this is in Belterra. They put out a little table and they sold the books and toys. And then they brought me the cash on Monday, and they were so excited, and I was like, my heart is going to explode. So, I mean, if your kids want to bring us cash, I will meet with them, and it'll be amazing. But, I mean, if they can do that, I mean, just imagine what we can do as adults.
Yes,
right? And way to go to those kiddos and those parents who raised those kiddos to be so loving and supportive of their community too.
Yes.
And
and
I mean, it just goes to show anybody can help. Anybody can help.
I mean, and that is, I mean, y'all have the weekly drip book club where the membership from the book club is going to the library. The Cypress PTA for their fundraising event, they said, we're going to give 1% of what we raise to the library. I mean, I met with this pickleball team today, came up to me and said, we want to sponsor a butterfly as a team. And so, I mean, get together with your friends, get together with your family. But honestly, every dollar counts, and that's what this is going to take. And yeah.
Sarah, what does sponsor a butterfly mean for somebody who's never heard it before?
Yes. So the library is all about promoting lifelong learning. And we know that learning changes us and transforms us. And so butterflies are iconic of change and transformation. And so the new library is going to have this permanent art installation by this renowned female glass artist. Her name's Carlin Ray. Look her up on Instagram, Facebook. You guys are going to fall in love with her work. And so you can sponsor a butterfly for as low as $30 a month, and you get to design your own butterfly. You know, Carlin Ray will come and do these workshops with donors, and that'll be in the library for forever, and a testament to how our community values lifelong learning and values, personal transformation and community transformation.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. We will put a link.
Wait.
Oh,
I'm so sorry, Amber. You're doing everything perfect. You guys know that we never run over our time, but we have to, because April 3rd is a really big day, and
yes.
Sarah has to tell us about it, and then we can, please.
April 3rd.
What's
Remember
happening?
it. April 3rd. It's a Wednesday. 2 weeks from now. A Wednesday, 2 weeks from now. Yeah, April 3rd. When you donate on April 3rd, your donation will be matched dollar for dollar. So if you want to donate $10, it'll be $20 on April 3rd. So donate on April 3rd. Go to our website, dscl.org/future. And yeah, and if you want, you can come by the library because we're going to have a party on the porch all day.
Porch party.
I love that.
And there are a lot of businesses in this initiative as well. You guys, if you watch the show, you already know Amber and I run the Weekly Drip Book Club. We have signed on to be an Unlock Learning Challenge pledger, which means our book club, the little book club that could, has committed to a $5,000 donation to our local library. If us readers can get together and pass the hat and pull this off, like anybody can do it. So on April 3rd, and you'll hear me mention it again, but now's a great time to remind you, go out to eat in our community at one of the businesses supporting us and donating a portion of those proceeds. Every dollar donated is going to be matched by a very generous donor. I don't know if they're releasing who that is.
It's HEB. It's HEB. I should say it. It's HEB. It's HEB.
Join us on the porch that day as well and celebrate. And I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to bring champagne, but I might.
Yeah, I think you should.
You can't tell me what to do.
We'll figure it out.
We're this close to 1 million. That's so amazing. There's no need to wait till April 3rd to hit there. But this campaign is going to be running for 3 years. So 3 years from now, there will be a brand new, incredible facility for all of us to enjoy in our community. And with that, Amber, you can take us out. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you are fine. And we are also going to include the link to be able to contribute underneath the video. So wherever you are seeing this video, check the link below. That link will be available to be able to donate now. Or if you want to hold off till April 3rd, you can do that too so that it gets matched. That does not hurt. Every dollar counts, even if it's just $1. Donate. Help us build this library. That's going to be a legacy for our community and for our children and for generations to come. I am Amber Pierce with Coit Cleaning and Restoration. We've got Ashley Tullis with Atomic Property Group and Sarah Rose with the Dripping Springs Community Library. Thank you so much for joining us for another week. We'll see you next Wednesday at 4-ish o'clock.